Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well, and I wish you all the best of luck on your project. So, initially, when I entered the fellowship, I set out to work on licensing, and specifically, my proposed project was to clarify the language that applied and was enforced by our state's licensing department that negatively impacted our school age out of school time providers. In so doing, I set out to begin my discovery and learn the history of our school age licensing regulations. And I will be discussing goals, my project revisions, and current updates. So, within the discovery of my project, I learned that in 2022, prior to my arrival to the network, there was a school age out of school time licensing work group that was created, and their goal was to uplift the necessary regulations that would apply to school age folks specifically. And so some of their goals were to just voice the concerns of the confusion around the current licensing requirements. They wanted to uplift what was necessary for school age providers and also wanted to create staffing qualifications that created a pathway that would specifically apply to the out of school time sector. So, in reviewing that document and learning the history of my project, um, learning the history of licensing, one of the goals that I set out to accomplish was to share the complexities of our school age youth serving organizations and also uplift our state's out of school time quality standards to support the need for furthering the advancement of quality within programs across the state. And so my timeline back in August, prior to my arrival in the fellowship, the Out of School Time Advisory Committee was established. And one of the first recommendations that that group created was to reduce the licensing requirement for out of school time grant seekers. In addition to that, some things that were happening within our state was the creation of the Michigan Lifelong Advancement Education and Potential Department, or MyLEAP. And in addition to that, Laura, also the Licensing and Regulations Department, released the public survey, starting the process for the new licensing recommendations. In November, I began meeting with Laura and uplifting the letter of revisions that was previously created by the 2022 group. And by this past winter and spring, the draft revisions of the 2025 license regulations were complete. And so, in addition to that, what initially happened within our MyLeap department was our out of school time department, currently or formerly housed within our state education agency, was moved to MyLeap. And Lara was also moved, creating a pathway for collaboration for those two departments. So just this year, MASP has created a new school age licensing work group that is intended to support the need for further creation of school age licensing regulations. And by this fall, that work group is hoping to recommend revisions with the public comments that will be released from our licensing department for the new regulations that will be released in 2025. So, where am I currently? My hope is to continue furthering the need and uplifting the quality of our out of school time uh, supports for our state. And so, in addition to helping to support the attainment of license and license exempt status for our out of school time folks, we hope to also create a pathway of recommending new legislation for school age licensing. And so, my hope is to continue this work. My project is not done. And if you would like further detail of the things that I have outlined in this presentation, please read my final project paper.